spread sets and they never see the field anyway. So it's completely irrelevant.
Welcome into the Believe in Monsters podcast. Chris was talking about his Madden franchise in which he has O.J. Howard as his third tight end. I feel like O.J. Howard was like a hot name in the Bears community for a while. I don't know why. I feel like a lot of people really wanted him on the Bears. It wasn't just you, Chris.
I mean, I think it goes back to Nagy and the whole move tight end.
Yep.
And so people start to look at who fits that mold, those measurables.
Everyone wanted OJ Howard. Yeah.
Obviously fits those measurables, but he couldn't perform. I mean, you could perform with Tom Brady, dude. You're pretty much not going to perform. Period.
Yeah. Welcome into the show. It is the Krogman and Barry show tonight. Joe Gaither is out scouting the other positions that we're not going to talk about tonight. And you're stuck with us. So Chris, how you doing, man? It's been a week.
It's been a
week.
We
last talked.
Yes. I was going to say, like, what kind of week has it been? It's only Tuesday. I mean, shoot. It's been good. Had yet another child's birthday party on Saturday. Got a sunburn. It was my 5-year-old's best friend's birthday party. Went to a conference early in the morning with my brother-in-law, my father-in-law, and then went to the birthday party. And then Sunday just did yard work, which is super fun. Now it's hot here in Denver. It'd been raining all of June, and now it's 90, and I'm sad. So that's my life.
90.
How about you, Lucas? Yeah, 90.
I don't think it's gotten above 80 here, to be honest, but the humidity's been at like 100, and it's been raining nonstop, and it doesn't look like it's ever going to stop.
So your beard is sweating constantly?
It's supposed to rain every day from now until, I think, next Wednesday here. But yes, the humidity is very hot, but it's only like 70 degrees, so I don't know. It's a weird, very weird summer, to say the least.
Did you build your ark yet?
I'm building it.
Good. It takes a while.
Slowly but surely.
Dude, Evan Almighty, when he builds the ark and just how massive it is, and then all of his neighbors and people helping out, it's hilarious. Cool. Well, yeah, like Lucas said, welcome into Believe in Monsters. I am Chris Krogman at Shy Bears 1985. He is Lucas Berry, L_Barry 4020s. I can never get this right, and it's not that hard. L_Barry _40.
There we go.
Nailed it. Follow both of us. Follow the show. BIM_pod. Like, review, rate the podcast. As you know from every other gosh darn podcast you listen to, the hosts spew out this bullshit. I think we're just going to stop doing that because you all know the drill. So yeah, help us out. Get some ratings. Talk Bears. If you want to come on the show, fucking hit us up. Maybe. Yeah. We'll do some shit. So tonight, Lucas, you and I have been kind of chit-chatting, and Joe kind of hinted last week at what we're going to do up until training camp, which is still 35 plus days away. So tell the folks what we got going on tonight, Lucas, and I will look up the date.
Yeah, please do that, because if I do a Google search, I will crash, and the whole StreamYard will crash too. Tonight we are going to be talking about skill positions, which I guess is an outdated term now because you need to be skilled to play every position. But the flashy positions that people love to see: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and our good friends, the tight ends. Those four will be covering those four positions tonight. Some guys we think are, roster locks. Some guys we think might be on the bubble. How we think, camp is going to shake out for them. And then on top of that, I think Chris, we kind of talked about some things we might want to discuss on top of that tonight. We're going to be talking about, some traits we want to see out of our quarterback JF1. We're going to talk about the Bears offense, how much running, how much passing we think. And then some receiving threats outside of DJ Moore. We're going to talk about that a little bit. So it's going to be a fun episode, lots of action. Chris, did you find this answer?
I did. I lied like a big fat liar. But on the good side, because there's only 29 days
Oh
until
wow,
training
there we
camp.
go.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're under a month. July 26th is the kickoff. And honestly, that's the first day people get their pads, their playbooks, shake each other's wieners and go home and, have a beer
They they,
probably.
they announced the joint practices with the Colts. I think those are in mid-August. So those will be into the preseason there when we have those practices with Eberflus's old team. Wow, we're that close, Chris. We have, I think we'll actually get 5 episodes in before camp starts, including this one. But still, just about 4 weeks away here. 4 weeks away from some live action. I know you and I are not liking baseball too much, so we need something.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, we definitely need to get to baseball season. But first, like you mentioned, Lucas, we'll talk about these skill positions, these fantasy football players, if you will, because like you said, you do need
There you go.
talent or skill to play every position in the NFL, even long snapper. There's
Dude, I
like
like that. I like that the fantasy football players.
yeah.
That's perfect. The perfect.
Except we're not
description.
talking about Cairo Santos because kickers aren't people. So yeah, my question to you, Lucas, earlier today, we talked about this a bit in the last couple of weeks, statistic wise with Justin Fields, what we'd like to see from him. My question is more along the lines of traits and those boxes that he needs to check for you to, I guess, make you believe more or make you feel like he is having growth, making progress.
Yeah, honestly, and that's a really good question because the numbers obviously lack some context no matter what, some good, some bad. But some things, some traits I'll be looking for at a Fields this year, is going to be the decision making, and that includes time and the actual decision, and that kind of grouping is going to be really the main thing I'm going to be looking at of him for him this year to kind of see that growth. I think that will take him, just getting the ball out quicker, taking less hits, and then making some better decisions, a few less interceptions. I think that alone is going to kind of elevate his game to the next level, if you will, Chris. I mean, what are you thinking along the lines here? I mean, that's probably the obvious answer, but for me, I think that's kind of a major box to check, and either you do it or you don't this year.
Yeah, I think quicker decisions, being able to throw receivers open. And
Yeah.
from what it sounds like, the whispers that we're hearing in training camp or the rumors we're hearing in training camp, or not training camp, but whatever, OTAs, was that when he's throwing to DJ Moore, he has no issues doing that. But when he's throwing to anybody else, it seems more to be waiting until they're open. The caveat to that being no Darnell Mooney, no Chase Claypool. So hard to judge again. So hopefully these last 40 days have gotten those two guys healthy, and we'll see them for training camp at some point, or at least in preseason. So yeah, that's going to be one for me. Not causing his own sacks, at least not as much. Not
which I think
pressure.
I think, making faster decisions will also help with that. Like I said, I think just in general, if he's in a rhythm, throwing on time, we're not having to scramble and avoid sacks all the time / run back into them. You're kind of just, I don't know. We're really hoping he can just kind of speed up that decision making to the point where he doesn't have to run around and be, superhuman all the time.
For sure. And, since we're going to kind of get into this anyway and talk about the splits last year or the offensive play calling last year, I mean, I think we're going to see more passing. I mean, I think that's kind of what every offensive coordinator wants to do, is pass the ball, and that's, kind of the modern NFL. So like last year, Lucas, I don't know if you know this off the top of your head. These numbers were interesting to me. Percentage wise, how often do you think the Bears rushed the ball, and how often do you think they passed the ball?
Percentage wise, I want to say they threw. I want to say it's a 60-30 split, running to passing.
It's not. It felt like that, right?
Or
And
60 to 40.
that.
Sorry, 60 to 40 is what I meant.
No, I got you. Yeah, you're 10% punting probably, but that's okay. It's not quite that high, but it does feel that high, and it kind of looks that high. Just the first two teams. So it was a 56-44 split, which really isn't that far off of 60-40. And then the Falcons were a 55-44 split. And then it drops all the way to 50 with the Ravens. So like it becomes even three teams in to, that kind of play call percentage. This year, I think we're going to see a lot less, obviously, but I still think they'll be above 50%, like 52, 53%. What do you think?
52, 53% throwing or running?
Running.
Yeah, I still think they're going to run slightly more. I do agree. I think the passing attempts will come up. From how low they were last year, though, it's kind of – I think you're kind of doing a disservice if you think they're going to improve so much off that number they had last year. I think it was some crazy, like 20 or 25 attempts a game, which is way lower than anyone else. I don't know if you have that in front of you, Chris.
But,
well, I guess my –
Good.
I was going to say, I guess my point to even go from there to league average is like a huge leap. So I do agree with you, Chris. I think we're going to see more running than passing again. I do think the passing gets a little uptick, but I still think they'll be top 5 in rush attempts and, I don't know, bottom 5 in pass attempts overall.
So the interesting thing here is they were bottom 3 in total plays on offense.
That's interesting.
Which is, kind of makes sense when you look at the splits and everything like that. So they ran 993 offensive plays. I don't think that's probably snaps because I think like penalties and shit like that are taken out. But so the league average was about 60 plays more than that. So it's really not that many, but that's a full game probably worth of plays, right? If you do, throw the ball 30 times, run the ball 30 times, or some mix of the two. I think 60 plays is pretty common in the NFL. So I think the passing numbers have to naturally come up as long as they're getting as many plays as that, sustaining drives. That's going to be another metric for Fields. And then, those, and I know we gave Justin all the excuses in the world last year with not being able to do a 2-minute drill because he had nobody to throw to, and you have to throw in the 2-minute drill. It's got to be there this year.
Yeah, totally. He's got to be better in that kind of situation. I mean, the whole team does. The receivers, the line, everyone's got to be better. I mean, how many times last year did we see the Bears in kind of a crucial situation or a situation where they didn't have timeouts? Someone's committing a penalty, whether it's holding or a false start, or someone's missing a block and Fields is getting sacked, or Fields is missing someone when they're open because he's got happy feet, he's got sacked so many times, or a wide receiver. We've seen so many kind of crazy things last year. So I would say Fields plays a big part in that, but also the offense as a whole needs to kind of step up in those situations. But I mean, overall, Chris, do you think we're still looking at a bottom 5 passing offense by attempts, or do you think it's going to be slightly higher than that?
Like attempts per game?
Yeah. Like, do you think do you think they'll be bottom 5 in the league in that, or do you think they'll be a little bit higher?
I mean, so they were dead last.
Right.
And bottom 5 is only like essentially 51% of the time. So yeah, probably. I mean, if I just said they're going to be running the ball, 52 to 53% of the time, then yeah, they have to be bottom 5 in passing attempts per game. So, well, I mean, this is also hard to judge because we're talking about percentage wise. So,
yeah, I like looking
still
at
think
the
so,
actual attempts, but yeah, it's just like I said, it's so crazy to where they came from to kind of just expect them to, double. I mean, basically double what they did last year would be like, a high passing offense. Like some offenses, if you were to double the Bears pass attempts per game, it'd probably be similar like what the Chiefs do, like 40 to 45 dropbacks a game or something like that. So that's what I mean. It's just like such a drastic change for them to even move up from bottom to bottom 5. So it's I don't know. It's still going to be a run first offense, and we'll talk about that as we get into the depth chart and the kind of weaponry they have in the backfield, which I think turned out really well.
What do you think the delta is between the Chiefs passes? How many times they pass the ball, and how many times the Bears pass the ball? What number do you think it is?
20.
Not per game, total.
Oh, total. I can't even comprehend that. I don't know how many pass attempts is normal on a season, like for a quarterback.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's just take 17 by 20, and that's 340. So it was 242. So the Chiefs threw it 677 times, which that's a ton. Over 500 used to be the marker, and then 600 pretty much became the marker. But almost 700 passes is insane. So 435 was the Bears' putrid bottom of the league pass attempts. So yeah, 242 passes difference. That's nuts.
That's crazy.
That's nuts.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. It's just like there's such a drastic difference from teams who throw like that and the Bears, that even for the Bears to kind of move up a little bit, they're still going to be fairly far down that list.
I mean, I'd like to see Justin do enough to at least shake this running back tag from people outside of Chicago. Shit, even inside the Bears fan base. So that would be good. But
I think if they're giving him 26 to 30 attempts per game, it's kind of fair to expect and think that we would have enough of a sample size to kind of give a fair judgment. What do you say? Because I think like last year, for example, Hurts threw about 30 times per game, or 31 maybe last year. But that's with a great offensive line and great weapons. So I guess my point is the attempts will be up a little bit, but we also can't use the excuse anymore. He's not getting enough attempts. So probably be in that 27 to 30 range.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles were really low as well. I mean, they weren't all that much higher. They did throw considerably more passes, but as far as like percentage-wise, they weren't that much different. So he threw about 34 times a game.
Okay. Yeah, see, I think the Bears will throw a little bit under that, but
yeah, so if they threw like I just did 25, just like doing math for 25 times 17, and it was only 425. So like I guess 30 seems to be the number. That would be 510 throws. So I think right around 30, 28 to 32, somewhere in there every game.
Yep.
Cool. So run pass split. Talked about that. Well, I agree. I think run first offense. As far as like the Bears backup QBs, the third QB rule is back this year. So the Bears can bring back a third QB. Last year on the depth chart or on the rooster was Trevor Siemian, Nathan Peterman, and of course Justin Fields, and then Tim Boyle was around. He's probably kicking on the practice squad.
Isn't the rule that they don't? Do they count? It doesn't count toward your 53-man roster. It's just a practice squad guy that you can elevate to start if your two guys get hurt.
So I thought it was. I think a game day rule. Like you can have 46 dress.
Yeah, it counts as I think it counts as a roster spot, but you're right. You can dress the extra quarterback on game day, and it doesn't count toward that.
So this year they have they signed PJ Walker, as you know, to pair with DJ Moore because that was such a good pairing last year in Carolina. But they also still have Nathan Peterman on the rooster and drafted Tyson Baggett, however you say that. I don't know what your name is. Badgett? Isn't it Badgett?
I think it's Badgett. Yeah.
Yeah. Badgett, like pageant, but not spelled like that. Anyway, so I guess the question, Lucas, is do they keep 3 or I think Peterman's on the roster. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I honestly I don't think he'll overtake PJ Walker.
Yeah, they're not. You're right, and I think PJ Walker's probably seasoned enough to be that veteran presence for Justin Fields. And I loved PJ Walker in the XFL. I don't know if you watched that. It was like the first
did he? He was electric.
Legit.
He was the best player
by far, best player in the league.
I think this is something we've been talking about, but the Bears have never. I couldn't tell you for how long we've been asking for them to get a backup with the similar skill sets. You don't have to change your whole offense. This is absolutely perfect that they signed PJ Walker. We were hoping it was maybe Tyler Huntley. This is great. I love Justin Fields. I don't think he's going to play all 17 games, with how much he gets hit. So,
yeah.
This kind of pickup is huge that you can kind of – and he's a guy, like you said, he played pretty well in Carolina last year in spurts. I wouldn't automatically count the Bears out of a game if he had to come in,
For sure. I wouldn't mind seeing Tyson Badgett push Peterman for I always like having a developmental QB, in that third spot just because you never know what's going to happen and what happens if you strike gold, and they can be that preseason darling that some team trades a draft pick for in the future. So I always quarterback's the most valuable spot in the NFL. So why not have a plethora of them? So
absolutely.
No clue if Tyson Badgett is that guy though.
Yeah, I don't know too much about him. I think he's like a Division II legend or Division III legend. He set like the all-time record at Shepherd College or University.
Shepherd.
Yeah, he's supposedly like a pretty electric player. So I really don't know too much about him. But yeah, it would be a fun story if he made the team, and maybe he'll be this year's training camp darling. And like you said, you never know when the next Brock Purdy rolls around or whatever.
That's right.
What were you shaking your head about? What did you find?
No, that's what I was going to say is the training camp darling. Like that's what he's going to be is the everybody's favorite. You're going to have, Mr. Phone camcorder himself, Greg Braggs out there filming Tyler Badgett just ripping off runs and throws.
What was that wide receiver everyone used to love?
Which one, man? It's like one every year. It's there was
that little white dude that's stuck on the roster. He was on the training camp roster like every year.
Oh, man, there was two.
The dude from Wyoming. He was from Wyoming.
No, there's two.
Tanner Gentry.
Tanner Gentry. Yeah, so that was the one when like the year before Josh Allen came out. I think is when we got him. But there was another one, that dude with the long name, and I can't remember his name now. Daniel.
Oh, Braverman.
Braverman. There we go. Yeah, longish name, but yeah, he was a little Wes Welker mold that everybody thought we needed. So good quarterback room. I think it's solid. Obviously, the whole season rests on Fields.
I guess. Do you think Walker's a lock, though? We kind of talked about it, but do you think he's a lock, or is Fields the only lock in this room?
He better be a lock. Walker better be a lock. What'd they give him?
That's what I mean. We definitely think he'll be the backup, right? We don't think Peterman could somehow unseat him as number 2.
No. Dude, my whole thing about Nate Peterman is when the Bills took him and then he came in and threw like 5 picks in a game, like he'll never be a starter again. But I guess PJ only signed for $1 million. but he has a dead cap value of $2 million. So
I think he's a lock.
Nobody knows how that works, but yeah, he's a lock. As far as the running back room, last year's running backs were Monty. Obviously, he's a traitor and went to Detroit. Defector, shit talker. Anyway, Khalil Herbert, Darrington Evans, who was better than the last guy, Tristan Ebner, who was the 6th-round draft pick. This year's running back room has been upgraded over Monty with Deontay Foreman. Khalil Herbert's still here, obviously. Drafted Roshan Johnson and signed Travis Homer. And then that bum Ebner is still hanging out in the 5 spot, 6 spot.
He's not even listed on the ESPN depth chart.
And then you have Kari Blossingame as the fullback. We've talked in the past couple episodes about who's going to lead the team in carries, lead the team in rushing yards. Do you think the Bears throw to the running backs anymore this year?
I hope they do. I mean, honestly, that was the thing that kind of aggravated me the most about their underutilization of Monty, is that I really wanted to see them use him more in the pass game. And I don't know, they just didn't do it. I shouldn't say I don't think they improved the pass catching, because they did. But like a guy like Travis Homer, I don't even know how much playing time he could possibly see with these other guys out there, or if he even makes the team. I think Roshan's probably their best pass catching back, though. Are you familiar with Foreman's chops in the receiving game? I have no idea. I know he's just a fantastic runner, but I honestly don't know much about him in the receiving game.
I'm gonna go with.
If I recall, though, I don't think he ever gets thrown too much.
No, I don't think so either. I'm gonna figure that out. Like, as far as Roshan goes, I mean, I don't know enough about him because, he was a backup and he got a ton of snaps in Texas to really, for me to really have an opinion. So
yeah, he had one reception last year for 1 yard.
Wow.
Yeah, so he doesn't.
He's not catching the ball.
No.
Well, that's okay. Homer, I think Homer makes the team. Do you think any of those, like, obviously, I think Ebner's out. Do you think there's a chance they could go with no fullback this year and have Blossingame out?
No, I think the fullback and the third tight end are kind of integral parts of this offense, mostly for blocking and big packages and just how much they run the ball. And honestly, Blossingame was pretty sick last year. I'm not going to lie. He's a very underrated fullback. I know there's not many in the league, but I think he was pretty awesome. So I was going to say he's one of my locks in this room of definitely making the team.
You said big packages, and I didn't get my that's what she said out quick enough. So I just got to – that's what she said.
That's all they say in the sideline when he's in the game. Big package, big package.
Big package. That's what she said. It's called the That's What She Said package. So you got him as a lock. Okay, so well then do you think they carry 4 halfbacks then?
I think they carry 3. And that's where I'm saying I think Homer might be cut. I know some people think, I don't know. I've heard some weird things. I've heard people say, oh, Foreman could be cut, or oh, Herbert could be cut. I don't think either of them guys are going to be cut. I mean, Ebner is kind of the sitting duck there. He's like the obvious one that didn't look good at all last year. And then Homer for me is just kind of a low risk investment that you basically took all the qualities that you paid him $1 million to give you, and you just put it in. Like Roshan Johnson does everything they brought Homer here to be. So for me, it's just kind of like, I don't know. But also to your point, if you say, oh, they paid him, they might not want to cut him. Yeah, that's a good point. They could keep all 4 or 5. I mean, Homer Homer brings some special teams value at least too. So there's that.
Yeah, so he signed a 2-year, $4 million deal, 1.75 guaranteed. Base salary of 1.3 this year, signing bonus of 450, workout bonus of 100. So total contract is 2-year, 4.5 million. I do not see them cutting him. That's a lot of money. Like we talked about Pettis being cuttable at like $1 million. And I still, man, can you imagine just like paying a dude $1 million and just cutting him? Like, ouch. Like if I'm George McCaskey, I'd be like, bro, I need half that back. I'm going to take that out of your salary. So yeah, I do not think Homer is cut. I think they carry 4, which it's going to, I mean, the QB's at 3, running backs and fullbacks at 5. That's up to 8 people already.
Though with the QB, I feel like with the QB, if they keep Badgett, for example, he might not make the 53, but then he'll be on the practice squad, and then I'm sure when people get hurt, they'll elevate him on game day or something.
Sure.
So I don't know if I would count that as a roster spot because they're probably just going to play games with it. Like I highly doubt that some team's going to poach one of these. I mean, it's possible, but I doubt a team's going to poach one of these guys. So I would put him down for 2 QBs just for.
I mean, it's still fine. I mean, I think even if they carried, 4 halfbacks and a fullback and 3 quarterbacks and 6 wide receivers and 9 O linemen, that's still only 23 people, and you pretty much have 25 on each side. Then you have your 3 specialists to make up a roster. So I think that, I mean, unless they could even carry 4 tight ends at that point, unless they carry like 10 offensive linemen, which I don't know, or 7 wide receivers, which we'll get into here in a minute. So yeah, I think they keep Homer. I think they keep Roschon, obviously. Foreman, there's no chance in hell that dude gets cut. He's going to probably lead the team in carries or rushing touchdowns. Herbert obviously isn't getting cut in Blossing game. I agree. I think he makes the roster. I don't know if he's a quote unquote lock, but
yeah, ultimately I agree with you. I think Homer will be on the roster. I think I was more making the point that I could see him being cut. But ultimately I agree with you that your kind of final assessment of 4 running backs and a fullback is probably how I would have it shake out too. Because I think Homer, the Bears like guys who can give them, special teams value at those kind of bottom of the roster spots, and he's that. And maybe you're right. Maybe they throw the ball more, and he's involved in that because he's a really good pass catcher. So
he can catch punts, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he does.
So I think Pettis. I mean, that's what makes me think Pettis is out, because like it's easier to keep a 4th running back here than it is to keep like 7 wide receivers.
Yeah. What do you think? So locks in the running back room. Who are you saying?
I mean, like lead pipe locks. It's Herbert, Foreman, and Johnson, and probably Blossing game. I think Homer's a lock. I don't think you can cut $2.5 million like that.
Damn, he's getting the lead pipe.
Lead pipe lock of the week. I mean, I just don't see how they can cut any of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't call Homer the lead pipe lock. He's on the hot seat for me.
He's on the hot seat before he even does anything, and they already gave him money this offseason. Like, I just don't. Like, why? Like, why would you? Like, what are you cutting him for?
You can afford it. And
afford it for what? Like, what do you like? What's so important that you have to cut Travis Homer? I guess is what the thing is.
I don't know. We got to see as we get down the roster. I don't know. There's just 15, always surprise cuts, man. I don't know. There's
15 offensive linemen. Sure, there could be surprise cuts. There could absolutely be surprise cuts. There could be, I don't know, like 7 or 8 defensive linemen, or like 10 defensive linemen that, or extra linebackers, the extra corner. The corner room is freaking humongous. So that could be one. And then Yeah, I mean, definitely there could be a world where Travis Homer is I guess, luxury. Just a weird thing to say for any Bears position at this point. But yeah, but I don't see it. No, I don't see it. Um, Anything else from the running back room that we
No,
want to talk about?
I think it's going to be a fantastic group. I think the Bears are going to be one of the best rushing teams in the league again. I mean, that includes Fields yards too, obviously, but I do really like the kind of complements in this room between the blocking and pass catching between Homer and Johnson, and then the straight running ability of Foreman and Herbert. I think it's going to be a fun room to watch rotate throughout the year, and I do think they will kind of grind teams down with the run game. So, yeah.
Good shit. Good shit. Wide receiver is probably the hottest topic amongst Bears Twitter in terms of the fantasy football players for the Bears. So currently, as we sit here today, DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, Chase Claypool, Equinemius St. Brown, Velus Jones Jr., Tyler Scott, Dante Pettis, and then a bunch of dudes. Doris Fountain, Simba Webster. Actually, he's not just a dude. We know him from last year. Joe Reed, Thyrick Pitts, and Aaron Cruikshank. The last two being rookies along with Scott, make up the 12 dudes that could be a wide receiver on the Bears this year. We just kind of hinted at how many they could keep: 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, if you're cutting Travis Homer, you got all kinds of room. So we're all excited. We're all excited about DJ Moore, right? So that has me super pumped to have that dude. Outside of DJ Moore, okay, you think they keep 7, so you're essentially including the top six plus Pettis, right? You're not throwing are you throwing a curveball and saying Thyroid Pitts makes it?
No. Yeah, I think they're gonna run it back with ESB and Pettis and Velus, and then they had Scott, Claypool, Mooney. I guess Mooney was there last year, obviously, and Claypool was too in spurts, but basically, think they're going to run it back plus DJ Moore and Scott.
I was semi stoked for Dante Pettis last year. That's just how bad this room was. Was that, and he was okay at times. He was decent. I think they'll only keep 6. I think Dante Pettis is the roster bubble. It's possible they could keep 7. Just kind of, working through the numbers depending on what they like at other positions. I think he's the roster bubble guy. Simba Webster will probably be practice squad again just for his also special teams abilities. And then I don't know anything about these other 2 rookies, Thyrick Pitts and Eric Cruikshank. No. Joe Reed, I believe, was here last year. Or maybe
this is kind of – I feel like this is kind of a bad year to be added to this wide receiver room as a rookie or a guy trying to make the team, just because, I mean, there's really no room for the guys they have already that have played on the Bears last year, meaningful snaps. So, I don't know. These guys have no shot to make the team, but – yeah, Chris, I think ultimately they'll keep 7, and my reasoning for that is just because I think health is a big factor, especially with Mooney and Claypool. We don't even know if those guys will be ready for camp or if they'll start on PUP, but, I mean, obviously the Bears know about their medical history, and this could be a position they just want to keep extra dudes at because for insurance, guys who know the offense. And, ESB and Pettis aren't the greatest players, but there is something to be said about having chemistry with the quarterback and playing in an offense for a year or multiple years.
How dare you speak ill of a Golden Domer? Shame on you. Shame on you. Extra Special Brown is going to be a delicious drink this year, so I don't want to hear it. So outside of DJ Moore, who we're all very, very excited to have, I think, and DJ's excited to be here. It sounds like I would love to see DJ unlock into that elite tier. I think he has the talent. He's had some very weird quarterbacks, obviously, the last few years. But my question, Lucas, is what receiver are you most excited about outside of DJ Moore? Is it, Claypool, Mooney? Is it Jones, Scott? Who are you watching most in camp this year?
I mean, the obvious answer is Claypool. I think all eyes are on him, and I know you and I kind of agree that we both have a little bit different perspective of that trade, and we really want to see Claypool succeed. So, I mean, that's the easy layup. But for me, especially, how much I talked about him in the draft process. Tyler Scott is a guy that I think could really be a good asset for the Bears down the line, and definitely, carve out a nice role, a nice career with the team. So I think he has that much talent, but obviously we have to see it on the field first. He is on the smaller side, but he has my attention captured with his Olympic speed. I think I don't know. Was he in the Olympics for running or something else?
Badminton, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't know if it was like running or hurdling or something like that. I'm pretty sure it was running.
I have no idea.
But he is blazing fast. Another slot weapon for Justin Fields. And, it could be him having a big year could be very important for the Bears' decision on Mooney and Claypool. I mean, if Scott kind of shows that he can be a really good third option, then that makes letting one of those two guys go easier and lets the Bears spend money elsewhere. So, long story short, Tyler Scott is a guy I am excited about and will be watching closely. Chris?
Men's 100. I hate how they do this. 11.4? That's not that fast. Holy shit. That's slow as shit. For an Olympian. For an Olympian, dude, 11 seconds in the 100 meter is not fast.
Was that his Olympic time?
That's his personal best. Unless I'm looking at something completely inaccurate, but this is the worldathletics.org, which is .orgs are fairly organized. Fuck. Okay, for me, honestly, man, just to throw a whole monkey wrench and play a character like Joe likes to say, I'm excited for Velus Jones. I mean, he started to pop off at the end of last year. He's got some different abilities to him. You can see he's good with the ball in his hands, and maybe that doesn't necessarily include special teams. Maybe just when you have 11 guys running straight at you from a set point isn't good for you. But if you have less than that if he runs screens and jet sweeps and things like that and run gadgets, I'm excited to see how he can be utilized this year. As much shit as he got last year, he caught some deep balls. I think he was probably one of the only ones that Justin hit deep, like real deep on some passes. Other Mooney caught a couple fucking sweet balls last year, but
that Dallas pass is the one that lives rent free in my head. That would have been so nice to see that go in his hands. But no, I'm with you, Chris. I like Velus. I think you and I kind of share something for these guys that Twitter seems to hate on for no reason. So it's a nice underdog story. I'm with you. Velus Jones being a contributor for this team would be wholesome for me.
Very no, and I think no one. I think you and I are on the. We don't like to see third rounders burnt, where Bears Twitter can be on the. Well, you fucked up another third rounder, like before they're even 2 years into their career. I mean, the guy's 25. I get it. But in all honesty, like where we're at with COVID and everything like that, we looked at the draft guys this year. Everybody's older. So that means like the guys that are 23 coming out are now 24. and some guys are 24 and are now 25. Like, I mean, there was that D lineman this year that was like, what, 23, 24, and people didn't really have that big of a deal with that. So, I mean, yeah, he's older. Velas is older, but so what? So what? This room is a lot different than last year. You know, when we're talking about Dante Pettis last year being, I legit was excited for him being signed last year. St. Brown, I wasn't overly stoked about. I mean, he is what he is, like you said. I mean, he's a good blocker. He's been in this system now with Getsy for over 2 years. So he's got that continuity in the offense. Chase Claypool was out strutting his stuff on the runway, so he's his hamstring or soft tissues must be good. And yeah, I do want Claypool to succeed. Obviously, Golden Domers need to succeed. We have all kinds of them now too, ESB and Claypool and Komet.
Yeah, so I mean, if one guy out of that group was to get cut, I think it would be ESB. Kind of talked about it last week. You are saying Pettis. Ultimately, I think both will make the team, and I think they'll keep 7. But I guess that's something else to watch is if either Pettis or ESB just has like a horrible camp or something where the Bears are just like, all right, we're cutting this guy. So we'll see. I do think the coaching staff really likes both of them guys though, and they'll probably be here for another season. So I'm saying seven guys.
Well, and you're 5, 6, and I guess 7 guys need to be able to contribute on special teams, right? So, I mean, Moore, Mooney, Claypool probably not playing special teams. I don't think ESB brings you anything on special teams, so that kind of goes to your prediction of ESB getting cut. Velas can kick return. I don't know if Tyler Scott plays any special teams, but I don't think that's really his place in this. Pettis does do some special teams. So, I mean, is Pettis like actually wasn't Tyler Scott a gunner at Cincinnati
and I think he could be a punt returner too, or he's used to fielding punts or something like that.
Okay.
Also, I looked it up. Apparently, Courtney Cronin, who covers the Bears, said Tyler Scott qualified for the Junior Olympics at 8 or 9 years old, and his money race was the 400-meter dash. So that 11-second time is probably when he was like 10 years old.
There's not a chance in hell he was running an 11-second at 10 years old, dude. Like,
well,
that's
first you said it was thing. First you said it was slow. Now I'm telling you it was 10. I don't know.
If he was 10 years old, it's not slow. That's a big fucking difference. No, this was March of 2020.
All right. He wasn't 10.
He was not 10. But either way, doesn't matter.
All right. So who are lead pipe locks of the wide receiver room? Moore, obviously. Claypool, Mooney, and Scott are my lead pipe locks.
Yeah. Moore, Claypool, Mooney, Scott. And then it does get dicey. I mean, I don't think there's a world Velas Jones gets cut.
Yeah. But I'm not willing to put a lead pipe lock on it.
No. I really don't think there's a world that ESB gets cut. I don't know why. But I think, like, if Scott can return punts, if Velas Jones ever learns how to catch a punt, and Travis Homer can catch punts, I don't know what Dante Pettis is there for.
Valid point.
Justin Fields is they have a connection. Like, so what? Like, he's wide receiver 6 at best, maybe 5.
I think it'll be injury insurance, to be honest. Like I said, I do.
Well, then you could go get him from you can go get him from the local King Supers bagging groceries when you need it, or any of the other 15 dudes that are walking the street that can probably do the same thing he can.
I'm just saying, I think they'll keep extra guys because of the injuries.
Well, that's okay. So, I'll jump back to what you said about the PUP list. That's a different story. If somebody's on the PUP list to start, then that's not really keeping 7, in my opinion.
Well, even if they
because
don't, I think they still could keep 7, even if Mooney's healthy or, if they're all ready for week 1. I don't think 7 is that outrageous. I mean, it's most teams probably keep either 6 or 7.
I think most teams keep it 5 or 6, but I think there are probably times throughout the year where there are 7 on the roster, but for various reasons, like a guy's hurt but not hurt enough, but not healthy enough,
Yeah.
Or I don't know, or like last year, what's that dude's name that we were just talking shit about in the preseason or the pre? Emir Smith Marset becomes available. You got to drop somebody to get that guy. I mean, whew, man. So yeah, last year they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 that rotated through.
Yeah.
Webster, St. Brown, Marset, Pringle, Pettis, Mooney, Velas Jones, N'Keal Harry, who they still should have kept, and Chase Claypool.
Yeah, I think they're going to keep 7, and we'll see a few of these guys inactive for quite a few games, and them staying healthy all year is slim to none. So I'm saying 7 in that room, and we got our 3 or 4 lead pipe locks. All right,
Lucas. Well, we'll wrap up with Joseph Gaither's favorite position in all the land, the tight end, not the wide receiver. Joe likes him tight. So Cole Kmet, Robert Tonyan, Jake Tonges, and Chase Allen and Steven Carlson are all in the running. 5 tight ends. Kmet, Tonyan, locks, obviously. Who is tight end 3, Lucas?
If I knew anything about any one of these guys, I would tell you, but I really don't know too much. I remember Jake Tonges from last year. I think, wasn't he like a fullback, H-back, like hybrid type tight end? I'm pretty sure he played like...
He was on the practice squad last year a lot.
Yeah.
I don't remember much of him. Chase Allen.
I was going to say Chase Allen I don't think he's much of a receiving threat, but I think he's a pretty good blocker. So I think the last spot is going to be between Tonjes and Allen, but I honestly don't know too much about either of them to give you a prediction. I'm going to say Chase Allen will make the team because he interests me. But
Chase Allen looks like a poor man's Hunter Hurst, or is it the right name?
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. Hayden Hurst.
Hayden Hurst, yeah. Big redheaded tight end, 6'6", 280 or whatever. So you are not on the Steven Carlson train, huh?
I have no idea who he is.
This name sounds familiar, and now I can't think of who. I think he played in – it looks like they signed him from San Francisco, and I want to see something about him, anything. Yeah, so he was with – yeah, this dude's ugly, man. He looks like a guard. So he was in Cleveland in 2019 through 2022. Oh, yeah, so they did sign him from Cleveland. And then he signed this year. He's 6'4", 240, but he really looks like he plays guard. So, I don't think I think you're probably right. He's probably between Tonges and Allen. I think it's Allen as well. I mean, I think he provides probably the most upside.
Yeah,
I guess.
supposedly.
I know we actually talked about the Bears. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, keep talking. You're good.
I know we wanted the Bears to potentially take a tight end in this year's draft since it was such a deep class. They didn't go that route. So we'll see. We'll see who that third tight end is. Or maybe they're still, there's still plenty of time before the season starts, and in season, maybe they pick up a third tight end. I don't know. Maybe somebody gets cut. Maybe OJ Howard. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it'll be Chase Allen. Ultimately, we will see. I just went back and apparently some of the guys at Bleacher Reports said Chase Allen was the best blocking tight end in his class in 2020, so that's interesting. But like I said, Tonjes I think is more of like a fullback hybrid, if I remember correctly. So it'll be interesting to see what the Bears want to do. I'm guessing the third tight end is just going to be for their big packages there, Chris. When they want to tell you they're running the ball, not so subtly.
So Courtney Cronin doesn't have anything on like a wing eating contest that Chase Allen was in when he was like 9 or anything like that?
No, but he was hit by a car. I did see that.
Was he hit by a car or did he hit the car? Was the car hit by him?
I think he was hit by the car. Now you got me confused.
Ran into the side of it full speed. Did you ever have to push cars around the parking lot in high school? Was that a drill for you? I know you played fullback, so that's probably...
No, but there was this thing called Battle of the Hogs, and it was an offensive lineman challenge, but I got to go because I was a fullback. So they're like, all right, we'll throw you a bone on you compete in this. And it was literally just all the high schools from our region came out and competed in teams of 4 guys from each team. And one of the activities that you had to do was push a school bus, and it was timed. You had to push it pretty far. It was like 100 yards or something crazy.
Whew. That is a long way to push a school bus.
Yeah.
I mean, did you only have to get the front of it over, though? Because the school bus is probably like, what, 10, 15 yards anyway. So that's only like 85
No,
yards.
I think you had to get the back tires over the line. I don't know exactly how far it was, but it was a decently long distance. But
that's
to answer your question, no, didn't have to push cars around the parking lot, but did have to push a school bus in that competition.
That's insane. We did car pushing. It was like one of the coaches' cars or something, and he sat on the trunk and yelled at us. So that was always a good time.
Well, did you guys have the Prowler? Was that a thing then?
The Prowler?
Yeah. Did you ever see the sled that you put weights on? It has 3 handles. You grab 2 of them, and then there's a handle in the front. And you step. That's basically the replacement now for the pushing the car. And that is notorious for making people vomit.
Yeah, no, we didn't have that. I've seen it though. I didn't know that was what it's called. We just had the 5-man sleds in the one.
My roommate from college, we played high school football together, and Brandon McManus went to our high school, and he came back to show us his Super Bowl ring, and this guy threw up all over McManus's shoes after pushing the Prowler.
Nice.
Just literally just vomited all over the fucking guy. Just want to show us his Super Bowl ring. Got vomit shoes.
Oh, poor McManus. Well, Lucas,
Chris, this is crazy though. If Kmet or Tanyan get hurt, dude, is this tight end room screwed?
Dude, again, this is a position where you could go to your local insurance agency and pick up a tight end.
Yeah, I know, but Kmet's such a big part of the offense. And
is he though, or did he just do so well because there was nobody else to throw to? I mean, look, I'm the biggest Cole Kmet supporter on the podcast, but I don't know if he's a quote unquote big part of the offense.
Did his blocking abilities, his blocking and receiving ability together, is pretty solid for I think he's a very good fit in this offense specifically, because I think he brings a whole new dimension blocking to the run game and such. I mean, I know we just went on a tangent about how Chase Allen, all he can do is block, but at least Kmet, you have the threat that he could run out and go out for a route. So,
dude, Adam Shaheen is available.
Great.
Michael Pruitt is available.
And I don't know if it's just me, but I may have slightly elevated expectations for Robert Tonyan that might be unfair. I don't know. I just think the guy was really good on the Packers when he was healthy.
I don't think it's unfair. I mean, when he was healthy, he was very good. Ian Bunting is available.
None of those guys are Cole Kmet.
Max Williams. I know, but I'm saying if they got hurt. If they got hurt for the year, are they effed? Yeah, probably. I mean, Cameron Brate's out there. I mean, that's actually a legit replacement for these guys.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I think Cole Kmet's blocking ability is underrated. So,
oh yeah, for sure.
In this offense, I think he's a great fit, but I don't know, man. Tunyon and Kmet, I think it's a solid pairing. I mean, what do you think between the two of them? How many yards do you think they'll rip off together?
Ooh, that's a good question. Between the two of them, I mean, they should get 900 between the two of them.
Think so?
I mean, 450 each.
Yeah, that's probably going to be like a third of our pass game then. You think a third of our pass game will go through? I mean, it could. Very well could. I think this offense runs a lot through. I'm just putting that in perspective.
If Mooney and Claypool ain't playing, then yeah, probably. Yeah, you're probably right though. 3,000 yards. I mean, shit, dude. I can't imagine not throwing for like 3,500. And I can't believe Lamar only threw for what? Did we say 3,300 the year of his MVP or was
yeah,
it
but dude,
3,
he had like 40 touchdowns and like 1 interception or something crazy that year. Like his yards were low, but his TD to pick ratio is insane. I'll look it up. And he also ran for 1,200 that year.
Who's his tight end again? Mark Andrews?
Mark Andrews, yeah.
Yeah, that guy probably caught 20 touchdowns by himself. That dude's insane.
I'm looking up Lamar's stats right now. Yeah, he threw 401 times, 66% completion, 3,127 yards, 36 touchdowns to 6 interceptions.
And how many rushing yards?
This is only showing me passing now. Give me a second. I don't like the way this is set up.
Either way, it was a boatload. So
1,206.
1,206. Well, I mean,
7
hopefully
more rushing touchdowns.
Wow. Jeez. That's nuts. That by itself is nuts.
But yeah, I mean, to your point, Lamar's MVP season, he threw for 3,200 yards. So,
yeah, that's crazy. Well, Lucas, we've been talking about these fantasy football positions on the Bears this week. Kyle Rudolph also out there. Anything else from you on this group of fine young men?
I got nothing. I think we went through a lot of topics. We had a nice conversation, and we miss our buddy Joe Gaither.
You should have done what you said last week and recorded him singing so we could play it right now. Or any of the.
Play this.
It's a good time to be a Bears fan. I'm not even going to lie to you.
Not going to lie to you. All right, folks. Well, it is a good time to be a Bears fan. We're not going to lie to you because we never do. Thank you for joining us tonight on the Believe in Monsters podcast, and we will see you next week.
Happy Father's Day to all the Bears fans out there. Go Pack Go.